Welcome to another day of the Rebalancing Challenge. I'm really excited to introduce you to our guest today. I have Kelly Majdan here. She is a board-certified health and wellness coach, and she has a really interesting background, too, that has led her to this. So I'm hoping before you jump into your tip, Kelly, if you'll share a little bit about your background and how you became a health and wellness coach.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me along this journey with everybody. So I like to kind of joke around and say I am a recovering financial advisor. So I was in the financial services industry for over 25 years. I worked with a lot of people as a financial educator and financial coach, working with corporate 401k plans, kind of helping them set up the plans, but then also working with all of those employees, all of us employees that save in those 401k plans, and doing a lot of financial coaching and education. And so kind of the journey started with our own health issues, and then also just me noticing, and I'm kind of a research geek. I like to kind of go into the crunching the numbers of finance and health. And just there are two major things that impact people in their later years. It's not just how much money they've saved, but it's also how healthy they are going into their later years. And a lot of that kind of starts in our midlife season. So it's, the more you save, the better off you are in all respects. But the healthier you are, not only do you put less pressure on your finances later on in life, but you actually get to enjoy all that stuff you've worked so hard to save for. And so as I sat across people, from participants, talking with them about how to save in their 401k plan and their plans for moving forward, I just kept noticing, oh my gosh, there's other things you could be doing, because I was on a big health journey on the side. So it prompted me to go back to school to become a national board certified health and wellness coach. And since I've sold my advisory practice, I'm no longer a financial advisor. I now kind of like to call myself a wellness advisor. So I really try to work to help people be healthier, but also save some money along the way doing so, because there's a lot of things you can do to really right your ship to be healthy, and not have to spend a bunch of money doing so.
Yeah. I think that probably speaks to a lot of people. So I love that.
Oh, it's so easy to spend a ton of money. And is this business? I think we're in a really interesting time, because we have a lot of people who are focused on longevity and being healthier, which is great. But that also means we've got a lot of products and stuff that are thrown at us on a daily basis. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I've got the attention span of a gnat sometimes. And I'm like, let's try this. Well, let's try this. And then before you know it, you've got like this whole pantry and closet of stuff, and none of it's really worked. And it's not that the products haven't worked, but there's a lot of mind stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and really getting people to focus in, and myself included. Like, I totally include myself on this one.
Yeah,
not on the shiny object, but let's actually stick to a program long enough to be able to see the results, so it's really helping people pick those right programs as well too.
Yeah, no, that's so important. And I mean, to have somebody who is educated, such as yourself, guide you as well, because there's so many influencers out there who literally get free things to say that they are awesome, and then we go out and buy them or do them, and we have no results. So, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's easy, because I mean, honestly, I want the easy button, but we all know health as well as wealth. Sorry, folks, there's no easy button. It's time, and it's reiteration, and it's just really sticking to it and having that real strong desire to see something better in your life, because you're worth it. You're worth it. You got to do it.
So based on that, what is your health tip for us?
So really easy and not expensive at all. This is so funny. My health tip is actually, and I can say it's funny, but my health tip is to get out and walk without technology. And there's so much research behind that we are just, you guys, we're like little gnats. We're like, oh, every time you get a ding, like I've got, the smartwatch connected to the watch. So this means leave this little booger at home. Do not take it with you when you go on the walk, because that way you're not dinged. But we no longer get bored. We are afraid of being bored. And there's something that happens to our whole mental capacity to handle stress, to handle things, to handle life, to be creative, that when we don't let ourselves be bored and just kind of walk and let our mind think and just kind of take in the area around us, we don't actually release that oh gosh, help me with that word.
Parasympathetic.
Thank you. That parasympathetic part of our body that helps us relax and de-stress. So it's actually kind of stressful to start with, but when you get used to walking, like I walk my dog, I have two big dogs and my one who's injured, I walk him very slowly in the morning and I don't bring it with me. And hopefully you're in an area where you don't have to bring your phone with you from a safety perspective, because we don't want to worry you there. But if you can leave your phone at home and you can just let your brain think, it's one of the best ways to help de-stress and to kind of right your brain and get yourself kind of going, especially if you do it first thing in the morning. But anytime you can do it is great. Anytime you can do it is great.
I love this challenge. So ironically, beginning of this year, I had a friend challenge me to do exactly this. I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts and consume multiple a day, maybe not multiple whole books, but I listen to a lot of things. And she said, you need to make space for silence, like whether that's driving in a car or going for a walk. And so I have it's a 12-minute loop. It's not super long, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do this every day. The weather is nice, this 12-minute loop. And it's super challenging for sure, especially when I got started. And I still, more often than not, take my phone with me. And I kind of tell myself, if I get to the halfway point and I just can't anymore, I'll put in my earbuds and listen on the way back. But I rarely ever do that. But it is kind of like a muscle that I'm building to have silence for 12 minutes. Like, this should not be this hard, but it's hard.
Yeah, it really is. Like when I first was, I am addicted to podcasts and everything like that. Like I don't really listen to music too much, but I'm always, because I want to learn. I'm just a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it does. What I've found is I've become more creative. There is something as well too with our mental health. Like, and I remember, and I wish I remember the podcast that I heard this on as well too, but it really resonated with me, was the fact that we're almost too scared to be with our own thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of sad. And I think because, granted, yes, you have to watch what you're saying to yourself and all that kind of stuff, make sure you're talking nice to yourself and all that kind of stuff. But like, we're losing that capacity to be able to just really let our minds wander and be creative and be with ourselves and just be with that kind of blank space. And there's some mornings where I'm just like, I'll do the loop and I just have no idea what I thought about. Honestly, it's just an empty vessel. I'm like, where was I? I don't know where I was.
I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. But then there are some mornings where I've come back and I've immediately sat down and started recording a little blog that I want to say or something other, because I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this. So I just think that if we can do that, it's such an easy, there's no cost.
Right.
And it really does help. And if you do it first thing in the morning, or last thing at night, will really kind of help and reset and just helps you download and on all sorts of different ways and all sorts of different levels, mentally and physically.
So ironically, I do mine midday, partially to like get up because I'm sitting most of the day either with clients or on my computer, but also from a rest and digest, parasympathetic, all of that stuff standpoint. If you can move your body for 10 minutes after a meal, then that really helps blood sugar regulation. So that's why I do it in the middle of the day. But really, I think any time of day when you can do it.
Any time of day. And that's a great habit stacking thing. Is like, if you don't have a dog to walk, or if you need to just get out and get moving, which is another thing, we need to move our body throughout the day. Just take that up. And that's actually a really great time to do too, because there's another thing with that is if you're not so busy down here, because this becomes what I think it'd call a 30-pound weight, which will help hurt your neck. But the other part of it is also there's something with your ocular by looking out, because we're always looking at our computers or we're always looking down. our eyes, we need to actually exercise our eyes. And by looking out further and looking at the trees and then looking down and looking around, you're actually exercising your eyes as well. And then if you're doing it without sunglasses, you actually can help yourself sleep better because you're registering that melatonin. And again, I'm going to get this wrong, but it has an impact with your melatonin that you produce later on for your sleeping. So there's all sorts of
it totally does.
Beneficial, and it doesn't cost anything. Free. Just get out and walk.
I love it. I love it. So I'm sure everybody else is going to be motivated to do this as well. So thank you for this tip. Tell people, where can they find more information about you?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So you can find all my stuff at Kelly Majdan. That's MAJDAN.com. And then you can follow what we're doing on Instagram and Facebook at Power Through Wellness. And of course, you can do that on LinkedIn and also connect with me on LinkedIn as well, too. So would love to hear from you and love to hear your success with the walking.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kelly, so much for bringing this challenge to the group and for being a part of this.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is so fun. I wish you guys all the best luck. Good luck with the challenge.
All right. We'll have a brand new challenge for you tomorrow.